Okay, so I was loading up my McGraw air compressor into my van, and I busted this release valve off of it. And I think this thing is a weak link, because basically this is just attached right to the tank, and there's nothing else around it to kind of protect it. And you'll notice that the end here, this broke off. So I've got a piece of this end stuck in the tank. If you take a look at my 30-year-old Campbell Hausfeld, let me show you the release valve on that. Okay, if you take a look at this Campbell Hausfeld here, look at this. I mean, it's got this big casing around it and this little part protruding out, very small, and it's got this flat valve here. Whereas you take this is just protruding out, just waiting to get hit. So I think this is just I think this is a better design. But made in America, right? So what I'm going to have to do is replace this. So this broke off inside of here. So what I need to do is screw that out of there. So I went and got this Irwin EX5. It's a screw extractor. And I'm going to give this a try. Stick that in there. Now what you don't use is you don't use a power tool on these. Okay, so there it is. Now, to replace this, it doesn't look like anything is dinged up in there. So I went and bought this here at Harbor Freight. It's called the full port ball valve. And it was just a few bucks at Harbor Freight. So rather than call Harbor Freight and get the actual part for this and probably charge me 3 times as much, I just went and got this valve. And I think that this will fit right in here like that. Now the one that came off here did not have any goop or any tape on it, so Teflon or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in here. I don't think it's going to leak. If it does, I'll put a little soap around here. If it does, I'll just pull it back out and then put some tape on it, but we'll see how this works. Now, this one here, of course, is a little bit longer, so let me show you this here. This was down in here like this, so it's a little bit longer, but it's not so long that it gets in the way of the tires. So I think this is going to work fine, because all I need to do is just make sure that I'm conscious of it. And I was just being actually very careless when I did it. So if I'm conscious of it now, it won't be a big deal. I'll just make sure that I'm just careful. So that's just something to watch. I don't hear any leakage. I'll throw a little soap around there just to make sure. But anyways, and you're probably thinking, well, you really didn't save an awful lot of money, Tom, because you had to buy this valve and then you had to buy the extractor. Well, here's the deal. If you've already got this, then there's no cost to you. You already have it. The set that I had was too small. I didn't have a big enough one. So there is this cost, but now the tool, I have it if I ever need it. So I don't consider that part of the cost. And this valve here, it's probably cheaper than actually calling them and getting the part that came with this, because they'll probably say, well, that's a special part, so you have to spend, I don't know how much money to get this. It might not be. Maybe this is about the same as this. But the biggest deal for me is I had this up and running within an hour. If I had ordered the actual part that came with this, well, then you're probably looking at least a week just to get it here. So here it is. I broke it. An hour later, I'm up and running. So there we go. It works for me. And it does stick out a little bit more, but as long as I'm careful with it, I'm conscious of it, there's no big deal. For me, it was all about time. And this here saved me at least a week, and now I'm back up and running, and I can use my air compressor anytime now. So there it is. That's how I replaced the broken valve on my air compressor.